Welcome in once again, everybody, here with the IndyCar Legends Racing Series, live from Germany at the world-famous Nurburgring on the GP circuit for round 12 of the ILRS season. 27 races on the schedule. This is round 2 of the European Swing, 3 races, which is a mid-season championship of its own. Drivers take it very seriously, and last year Alexander Rossi won the European Swing and wound up clinching the title as well, so shows the importance of such stretch of races here mid-season. And these drivers are well aware of the consequences of maybe falling behind on these road courses. We have just about 9 minutes, under 9 minutes now left in practice. And we go to qualifying after that. Take a look at our points leader, Greg Moore, who's currently a bit of a battle out here in the warm-up session with quite a few of his contenders. 2 of them here, Montoya and Dixon, though, not having the best of season, the best of luck at least, not getting the results that they deserve. But right behind those 2 is Sebastian Bourdais, who is 3rd in points. You see Greg Moore just quickly pulling away from Dixon and Montoya. I think Montoya might have a few laps on those tires. Nope, not really. Just the option tires being significantly quicker. So we'll see how that plays out when we get to qualifying and how long they can last in the race. Currently 18th for the points leader, Greg Moore. He had a bit of traffic when he first got out and wasn't able to get a clean lap necessarily. But here's Sebastian Bourdais, 2nd quick. Let's see if we can find our fastest driver. He is by 1.3 seconds the quickest out here. Now that is an oval driver, but from Sweden, has a bit of road course knowledge, certainly, but known for his oval prowess. Kenny Brack, 134.6, 2nd quickest through 4th even. All now that just changed as Michael Andretti comes in with a pretty quick lap, 134.8. Everyone else was a 135.9, so Kenny Brack's got his car working here. About to complete the 5th lap of his session and getting some good fuel numbers. Not going in for multiple pit stops and changing tires. Just behind here is Will Power. Not too quick early on in practice on the harder compound, so that does explain that, but was last year's winner here in this race. Well, for the back, that's Pat O'Ward, new quickest, 134.627. Just barely quick, 8 thousandths than Kenny Brack. Will be a standing start in today's race. Part of that European swing, adding to the tradition here, being on these GP circuits. See Jacques Villeneuve just ahead of Pato O'Ward as well. Also on harder compound. So we can get on board with Pato, who's going to stay out, fortunately. the importance of those tires down into turn 1. Under braking, just how much better they can grip and trail brake even down into the apex. Just not sure these option tires will fall off enough to make the crossover worth it on the harder compound. Four minutes left in this practice session. Closing up again, under braking, and now one more straight before the chicane. See if Pato can line him up. Nope, backs out. Only practice, so thought better of it. Quick left and right. Yeah, that's the lap here at the Nurburgring. Alexander Rossi coming out of the pits, currently 27th, quick, only running now his third stint now on the harder compound. Trying to figure out what will work for the start of the race. I imagine they'll be doing that for qualifying. See, pretty overcast here today. I'm not seeing anything in the line of storms yet, but to have a better idea once we get to the race itself and see the forecast. As of now, for qualifying, everything should be good. Rossi's tires getting up to temperature now and even putting a bit of a gap between himself and Award. Number 7 car looks pretty quick. Got a minute 20 left. He's not gonna get this lap in. But trying to get by Will Power. Stay with Pato Ward before we get to qualifying, though, being our quickest here in practice. Let's take a look at the standings before we go to our qualifying session. Whoa, pretty good time. You see the difference, a second back once you get to Bobby Rahal, who's in 7th, and then you see Bourdais. You guys at the back, we wouldn't expect, like Zanardi, Montoya, Mario Andretti, Will Power, last year's winner, Scott McLaughlin, last week's winner, Castro Neves, even Alexander Rossi. Even though these guys are probably on harder compound tires, doesn't look like they're close to the front on that strategy.
Checkered flag for this practice.
Alright, see that they stick to it for qualifying. Pat O'Ward out of his pit box and down through the arena. Has the option tires on. Cars notably on the hard compound that we can tell here from the top left is going to be Joseph Newgarden and James Hinchcliffe. Mario Andretti on the options, so is Zanardi. They were on the hard compound for practice, so is Montoya and Rossi. So it looks like they are going to prioritize starting position. Or maybe just checking to see what they had with those harder compound and maybe when to use them. Before we get this lap underway for Pat O'Ward, we'll take a quick glance at the weather. No storms in the forecast till 10 a.m., 10:30. Not seeing anything. So we'll get underway with O'Ward's first lap. Bit shallow on exit there, not getting all the track out to the rumble strip, but you see cutting that corner pretty well. Oh, off track for Pato. Big mistake for the 5 car. That's gonna be that lap will not count. And so we'll follow Greg Moore here now. He is your current points leader by just over 100 points, 101 to be exact, on Colton Herta. Big moment there for Pat O'Ward, who was quickest in practice. See if he can rebound on lap 2 or if he needs to pit and just try to reboot, restart, and go for a one lap, final lap on the 4th one. Around the final corner, Greg Moore crosses the line. Looks like he is provisionally second. Scott Dixon right now would be on pole. Jimmy Vasser and Danny Sullivan 3rd and 4th. Pretty good gap through the top 15. It's a second separating 1st to 18th. Looks like the top 20 are on option tires and then 21st on back on hard compound. So split right down the middle, literally. Excuse me. 40 cars in this race. 20 decided to go with the soft compound, 20 with the hard compound. Just about, because we know Elio and Pato had issues on their lap. Looks like Montoya did. So they could be on soft compound. I do believe Pato is. Bourdais. Looking to get a lap in. Quite a few big hitters. Looks like they had issues on their first qualifying lap. And cross the start-finish line. Does not improve, but remains first. So Dixon looking comfortable right now. That was over a second slower. So, see here, Pato Award. You got 21st. Castroneves, Bourdais, Montoya. Their tires were dead after their mistakes. And now we find Newgarden. He's going to be 30th. He did not go quicker on his second lap. Let's see what the third is, though, because these hard compound tires could take an extra lap or even two to come up to full speed. Quite possible that Newgarden just decides to come in and pit. Dixon, Greg Moore, front row currently. Jimmy Vasser, Danny Sullivan, Unser Jr. That's your top five. Dan Weldon, Dario Franchitti, Ari Luyendyk, Emerson Fittipaldi, and then last year's winner, Will Power, the top 10. And Newgarden decides to pit. See if we have anybody still on track. Yeah, Rick Mears. He's going to get another lap. Here goes the 23, across the line. Gonna get one lap in. Not sure if anyone else is out on track that has a valid time going, but a lot of cars decide to come back out even despite not being able to put another lap in. Colton Herta, you see at the top of the screen, showing as 19th quickest. He's second in points, so for where he is on his tire strategy, not a good start. Championship leader is likely starting second. That's a big gap. And even Sebastian Bourdais back in 23rd. He had an issue on his qualifying lap, his first lap. Cross the line. Not quicker. And go back through, make sure no one else has a lap going. Sorry, it's a little jumpy. There's Robert Wickens. That's not going to count. And we are done with qualifying. At 135.639 for Scott Dixon. 2/10 ahead, 2.5 actually, of Greg Moore. And a 10th back to Jimmy Vasser. And then Danny Sullivan, Unser Jr., Dan Weldon, Dario Franchitti, Ari Luyendyk, Emerson Fittipaldi, Will Power. See Mario and Michael a little further back than they like to be. Some drivers going to have a lot of work to do tomorrow, or in this race in just a bit. Tomorrow. All right, we'll go ahead and advance the session. We'll go through the field. You can see where your favorite driver is starting here in a moment. Also take a quick look at the weather. Not
It's
seeing
time to grid.
anything
4
in
minutes 55 seconds left.
forecast. In fact, the clouds receding, so. Go up above and go through the field. See, there it is again. Scott Dixon on pole, starting on the outside though, so Greg Moore could have a good shot into turn 1. Jimmy Vasser and Danny Sullivan, very consistent drivers here on the second row. Unser Jr. been very good on the road courses as of late. Dan Weldon, a lot of momentum. Dario Franchitti has a win on the road course earlier this year. A little further back, you see Will Power. He is last year's winner here at the Nurburgring. Gilles DeFerrin on the technically the inside, the 02 car there. Sam Hornish Jr. and then Alexander Rossi, last year's European swing champion. Mario Andretti and Alex Zanardi. There's second in points, Colton Herta, yet with a win on the year. So it'll be tough to do it from 19th. See what he has in store today. There's quickest in practice. Pato O'Ward had an issue on his qualifying lap, and Sebastian Bourdais in third in the points. Now we get to the hard compound tires. Hinchcliffe with a great lap up ahead in front of AJ Foyt, Scott McLaughlin, Newgarden, Bobby Rahal. Those are big names. Craig Ray's had quite a few good runs this year, just has not had the finishes he's been, I think, deserving of. Kenny Brack was quick in practice, but a little further back. Seen the hard compound strategy pay off in 2 races this year. So we'll keep an eye on it again here today, obviously, but there's the last row. Buddy Lazier and Robbie Gordon rounding out the field.
We need to change to a new
pretty
car
quick
during the race.
to
Will be disqualified.
start of this
Oil pressure.
race.
Get ready to race.
Green flag, green flag.
Yeah, away they go. Dixon trying to lead him down into turn 1. Greg Moore's got the inside, but almost certainly going to have some stack-ups here. We've seen it every practice race we've had, but everyone through cleanly. I don't see any damage. Oh, maybe at the very, very back. Dixon, though, gets away with the lead. You see Greg Moore second. Good jump for the front 2. They're pulling away a bit on Danny Sullivan. Now into the chicane. Dixon a bit of a defensive line, going to cost him a bit of exit speed here. Greg Moore right on the rear wing now as we hit the front stretch. Lap 1 in the books. Dixon will lead. Then going defensive line. Greg Moore. Good heavy braking. Dixon very composed here early on lap 2. Craig Moore maybe backing off a bit. Got a 1 second gap between the two now. You got Danny Sullivan in 3rd, Jimmy Vasser 4th, Dan Weldon 5th. Al Jr. lost a couple spots on the start. Franchitti trying to break into the top 5, looking inside. Almost gets his nose taken off. Very risky move. See if we had anybody off track yet. Everybody's still going. Buddy Lazier rounding out the field right now in 40th. Here come the leaders down the front stretch. Quickest lap of the race belongs to Scott Dixon, a 1:35.277. Very quick out here for the Iceman. Al Jr. looking for a way to get his spots back. Dixon struggling to get by Weldon. Gives him an opportunity to make a move himself. Everyone pretty orderly at the moment. Keeping the wits about them in this 65-lap race. Not sure why that's happening, but Craig Moore losing time to the leader. Dixon 2 seconds now. Vasser close on Danny Sullivan. Might be close enough to make a move into turn 1. Keep an eye on him. Another half second quicker for Dixon. Danny Sullivan having a great run here in 3rd. Tough to pass, so track position very important. Does not want to give up any inside line, because as we let one car by, can let more than one, even the likes of Dan Weldon and Dario Franchitti lurking right in the wings, literally. Now 2 seconds separating the top 2 and then second from 3rd. So gap starting to form. But Jimmy Vasser appears to be quicker than the 44. Let's see if he can make a move down the front stretch. Oh, Dario gonna go to the inside here on Dan Weldon. Is that enough to make it complete though? Side by side, it's tough through here. It's got a lot of momentum there off the corner. Back and forth they go. Franchitti should be clear. Weldon continues to fight. But Franchitti gets by for 5th. two target Chip Ganassi cars now 4th and 5th. And then you have PNC Ganassi in 1st. Pelot right there in 8th. Great run so far for Ganassi. See if we can track down the battle with the alternate strategy. There you are. First car on hard compound. That is going to be AJ Foyt, followed by his teammate Tony Kanaan. So they got it working. Newgarden 3rd. Then you got Tony Stewart and Greg Ray, teammates. Okay, Hinchcliffe trying to get by Sato. Oh, close one. Last week's winner, Scott McLaughlin, not gonna force it. Kenny Brack was quick in practice, but unfortunately he's struggling here. And there's Villeneuve also struggling, holding up Brian Hunter-Ray and Robert Wickens. Got Robbie Gordon and Buddy Lazier. That's the tail end of the field. Brings us back to the front. Dixon, Greg Moore, pretty similar lap times, but Sullivan is second off. So going to create a bit of a train of cars behind him. 7 or so cars waiting for any mistake in front. Vassar almost had a run on the outside through that carousel. Like a hairpin carousel. Hairpin. So now 4 seconds the gap up to Greg Moore. Excuse me. Unser Jr. really trying to get by Dan Weldon. Not the best spot to make a pass though through that chicane. Looking back at the tail end of the cars on option tires, we have Castroneves, Montoya, Pato O'Rourke, Colton Herta, Sebastian Bourdais. Those guys have not made any headway, and in fact, AJ Foyt is closing the gap on the tail end. I'm not sure if we're seeing that crossover take effect already. We'll check back in a moment. See if we have any passes attempted going into the chicane part of the track. It's going to take a good run though off of this next corner for anything to happen. It's a good run, but it's not close enough. All right, let's take a look one more time with AJ Foyt. Wow, 3-second gap. Kanaan's fallen back a bit. Newgarden is now second in this line of cars, trying to catch back up to Foyt. Tony Stewart, he's up here. Kanaan, yeah, just struggling now. Greg Ray down pit lane, a few others. I think I saw Sato and Bobby Rahal. Alright, yeah, these tires are quicker right now than the tail end. Look at that. He's caught up to Bourdais. Just to make sure we don't have any phantom. We have had a problem with pit lane penalties with the pace car actually disappearing. But,
Lazier swaps from
weird.
prime to alternate tires.
Excuse me. Back to the leader, Scott Dixon. 139.4. Staying out. I think these option tires will stay out quite a bit longer. Look at Vassar just hounding Danny Sullivan. Let's go a little further back. There's Will Power still in 10th behind Emerson Fittipaldi, who, like a few other drivers we've mentioned already, just has not got the results he's deserving of. He's been at the front in many races and either ran out of gas or had an incident. Something has kept him from getting a top 10, but here he is in 9th. Let's see what happens once we get towards the end of this race. Alex Polo being patient behind Dan Weldon. So I'll take a look again who is still out on track that hasn't pit on those hard compound tires. AJ Foyt, Joseph Newgarden, Tony Kanaan, Scott McLaughlin, Hinchcliffe, Kenny Brack, Villeneuve, Hunter Ray, Wickens, Robbie Gordon. So about 6 cars had pit. Let's take a look. Tony Stewart went to the softs. Each of these drivers, soft compound tires, teammates here, currently 35th and 36th. And teammates here, Takuma Sato and Bobby Rahal. And you got Dixon about 30 seconds back of Lazier. Good lap for the 44. He's pulled away a bit from Jimmy Vassar. Dario Franchitti now trying to maybe look for a way by his teammate to keep tabs on Sullivan. Well, help me out here. And they're talking with his crew chief right now. Looks like maybe Rossi lost a spot back behind these guys. I think it was Paul Tracy getting by on the inside. Good run for Unser Jr. Don't think he's close enough, but definitely right tucked up in that draft. Here's the battle for 12th. Not sure if Rossi lost the spot. They were pretty sure they were side by side through that carousel at the bottom of the hill. Completing lap 10. Mario Andretti looking for a way by. Looks like he might have a shot at it here through the outside, but gets back in line. Didn't get quite far enough alongside. Nice run for DeFair and almost gets by Andretti on exit. And he's got to play defense. Well, Tracy is struggling now. Losing touch with Lyondike. 2 seconds is the gap. Rossi again to the outside. Trying to make it stick this time. He's much further along and he's going to force his way by. Well done by the 7 car. Cuts him off. Now side by side with Andretti. Very aggressive. As Tracy might push him off, give him much room on exit. But Mario's there. Trying to out-accelerate him into the chicane. Almost making contact. Andretti clear. Side by side behind. See DeFerrin and Rick Mears to pit lane. Rossi pulling away. Trying to get back to Lyondike and Will Power. None of the top 10 at pit. So let's get back to... Let's see here. Quickest of top 10 appears to be Danny Sullivan. Sullivan and Scott Dixon. Very quick. Oh, look at that. Hunter Ray must have had a speeding penalty. And I'm just trying to stay on the lead lap. He was towards the front of the field in the top 10. And that's just crushing for a 26 car. Looks like he's having to come down again. Let's see if they're having no current penalties, so not sure what the issue could be for Hunter Ray. Maybe mechanical. So no penalties. Not sure what the issue could be for Hunter Ray, but another potentially good race just gone terribly wrong. Now quickest on track is Greg Moore, 138.8, trying to cut into Dixon's 2.8 second lead. And then you got Al Jr. looking around on Dario Franchitti. Probably the closest battle on track at the moment. Yeah, Hunter Ray now down 1 lap. Ganassi still running first, fourth, and fifth. Looking to get Polo up into the top 5. And Vassar, very, very aggressive defensive line. Almost through the pit exit. I don't know how officials will feel about that. All the while, Danny Sullivan pulling away a bit. Greg Moore continues with a 139.0, which is a half second quicker than Sullivan. And Dixon even quicker than Greg Moore. Not good news for the rest of the field. First pit stops must be relatively soon. Let's take a look at the field as they come by this time. Oh, there's Scott Dixon, right on cue. It's like just about everybody on soft compound coming in. Wow. Fuel tanks are empty. Let's wait for the other cars, the hard compound. Here they come. It's Robert Wickens. He's pitting. So is Gordon. I think Gilles DeFerrin's staying out. There's AJ Foyt, Rick Mears, Joseph Newgarden, Tony Stewart, and Greg Ray have fallen back a bit. Wow. So back again to the front. There's Scott Dixon, Greg Moore, Danny Sullivan increased his lead quite a bit. Top six remain the same. And it seems, if I didn't miss anyone yet, everybody in the top 10 still on alternates. See back here. Oh, Rossi making the pass on Lyondike, just the way he did on, I believe it might have been Gilles DeFerrin. Short-term memory, can't quite remember. But another great pass, nonetheless, by Rossi. Looking to get to the top 10 now. And last year's European champion. The 3-race championship we have, including Red Bull Ring, this race here at the Nurburgring, and then the next race at Barcelona. Most points through those 3 races gets crowned the European champion. All right, here's AJ Foyt, 16th. Definitely up from his starting position. As is Newgarden and Zanardi. Rick Mears now on the hard tire, losing a bit of time, but in traffic you're not going to lose as much. Here's Tony Stewart. Pato Ward. Oh, big slide for Montoya is going to open the passing lane for Colton Herta. He's got the preferred line down into this hairpin. Call it the carousel sometimes, but it's just a long flowing corner. Not a very sharp corner. I feel, but call it hairpin, I guess. Carousel. Colton Herta has gotten by, whatever you want to call it. And now Montoya has Sebastian Bourdais behind him. Tony Stewart not going to stand a chance. Sullivan. Oh, looks this Lyondike off track. contact with Alexander Rossi through, and he can't get back going. Let's see if he can. Nope, he did not get the car moving again. Rossi might have a bit of damage in 11th. Great move by Lyondike. I'm surprised he tried to make that stick. Blow continues in 8th. Not much has changed up front. The gap's just a bit bigger, maybe between 3rd and through 5th. Danny Sullivan putting down some pretty good lap times here. In fact, Scott Dixon might be the slowest on track at the moment. On to the front stretch. Understand there is debris on the track, on the racing line from the contact between Ari Lyondike and Alexander Rossi. Now the winglet that needs to be cleared, and the yellow flag is out here on lap 18.
Pits closed.
Oh. So Hunter Ray will keep his lap. Huge break for the 28 car. Now, who decides to pit when we get to pit exit? I'm going to stay with this camera just as it helps with keeping the pace car on track. Feel just about all caught up now. Interested to see where everyone's running. Pole sitter Scott Dixon continues to lead. Second place Greg Moore. Hello up 3 spots. 4 for Rossi. 13 for Foyt, 14 for Newgarden. That strategy is really paying off. Rahall's lost 7. Hinchcliffe has lost 4. And Greg Ray lost 5. Oh, pace car's back. For now.
Pits are open.
It'll probably just be a 1 lap caution and we'll get back to green flag racing. Debris is picked up off that chicane. Now, see Lindike coming back down for more repairs. Again, was the one that brought out the yellow. It's like Nigel Mansell, Buddy Lazier, Robert Wickens, Robbie Gordon. They're gonna pit. And Hunter Ray almost went a lap down. Gonna be at the tail end of the field. Not sure what Gilles de Ferran was doing there.
Gordon got a black flag. 35th position Lazier has a black flag. P37 Wickens got a black flag. P32 Mansell is black flag. P38 Gordon is black flag. 37th position Wickens is black flag.
So weird. This happens when the pace car is not showing up. Be going green this time by. Lindike, the only car 1 lap down. Be lap 21, so just about the 1/3 point of this race. Take a quick look at the weather. Everything looking good. Shouldn't see any rain, as was potentially forecasted here. Getting ready to go green. Pace car popping in and out of frame.
Get ready. Dixon got a black flag.
Pace car is in. Green, green, green.
I'm trying to say Scott Dixon jumped the start. trying to get it cleared as the pace card was not in shot. Could be a killer for Dixon. It's already pulled out to a 2-second lead. I think that's almost personal. Great shot. These guys coming through this tight left and right. Side by side of Fittipaldi and I believe it was Zanardi. Hinchcliffe getting by on Villeneuve. And Hunter Ray actually even making up some spots early as well. Looks like we may be having a bit of an issue with internet, so I do apologize for the time being here. Keep an eye on it. Pass by Unser Jr. Getting to the inside on Franchitti. Danny Sullivan, very defensive line, is going to allow Vassar to get alongside. Wow, tight racing, and it looks like Vassar is finally going to be able to make the position. He does, clear of Sullivan. And Unser Jr. struggling to get by, but might be able to do so here in the next corner. He does, and Dan Weldon clears. Franchitti's going to lose 2 spots. Pelot gets by Fittipaldi. A lot of passing here. Will Power goes wide and gives Rossi a spot. Incredible racing. Apologize for the connection issues here, but hopefully just momentary. Al Jr. getting by. Trying to side by side. Sullivan gives him up space. Ross is going to have the momentum down this long straightaway. On the outside too, could probably try to close the door a bit on Sullivan, doesn't. Dan Weldon looking for a way by, may even try to pass on Junior. This field is getting very racy and completely mixing up the running order. It looks like they've had something going on here with Tracy as he's stacked the field up. Wing damage, I'm not sure, but oh, contact with AJ Foyt. Drove into the side of him under braking. Now closing the door. Foyt not happy about it though. Gonna clear. Paul Tracy struggling at the moment. Let's go back up to the front. There is Scott Dixon running first. You got Greg Moore in second. something here.
Weather alert, track temperature has climbed 7.9 degrees to 87 in the last 46 minutes and 9 seconds.
Oh boy, I hope that's not going to be there the whole time. Oh boy. And other news. Here's Scott Dixon crossing the line for lap 24 onto lap 25. Greg Moore running second. And you got Jimmy Vasser. Look at that, a pass. You got Unser Jr., Dan Weldon, that's your top five. Dario Franchitti, 6. Danny Sullivan's dropped back to 8th. So having a bit of a hard time on this set of tires, it seems. A huge line of cars here. Back up front. See Unser Jr. trying to track down Jimmy Vasser. He's a half second quicker that last lap. Nice corner by Weldon. So Unser took a bit of a defensive line, cost him some speed, but should be able to get a good corner off. Junior pulling a bit of a gap still. He's another half second quicker. Meanwhile, Vasser losing speed or losing time to Greg Moore and Scott Dixon. And at this rate, I don't see what's going to stop these two. Inside, willpower and Emerson Fittipaldi. Nope, power can't make the pass. I think we got a slow car back here, yeah.
Sato has a black flag.
What's this? Newgarden limping around. So is AJ Foyt. I think they just ran out of fuel. Yep, AJ Foyt, Joseph Newgarden, Scott McLaughlin. Many of these guys out of gas. Back out front to the leader, Scott Dixon. Sato was black flagged. I'm not sure exactly what for. Tony Stewart's down pit lane.
Stewart is black flag.
Black flag. I think I have a car off track back here. Dan Weldon. Oh, he's cutting through the whole track and into the wall.
Needs to pit for repairs. P11 Power needs to pit for repairs. DeFerron needs to pit for repairs.
The yellow flag is out.
Pit is closed.
Ran into Newgarden, his own teammate. Oh, DeFerrin also. Oh, he just got ran into by Tony Stewart.
Stewart needs to pit for repairs.
Oh my goodness. A lot of cars with damage. Excuse me. Do we have anybody a lap down? Yeah, Ari Leindijk. You get the wave around. Ton of damage to Tony Stewart. I don't even know if that's going to be able to be repaired. Dixon leading the field. Got Greg Moore, Jimmy Vasser, Al Jr., and Dan Weldon, your top 5.
Pits open.
See if anybody decides to come down pit lane. Could be a very busy pit lane. Oh, there goes Vasser, Al Jr. They're going to take the opportunity. Rick Mears. And I see another car out of fuel back there. Might be Hinchcliffe. And then build of creeping toward pit lane. Might cause these guys to run out of fuel. A lot going on. So Jimmy Vasser first out, then Al Jr. Looks like Rick Mears, Tony Kanaan. Huge hit for Willpower. Joseph Newgarden out. Scott McLaughlin. Gilles de Ferrin. Ton of cars. A few of them will get back in and get towed around. Some just stalled on track. We lost quite a few cars in that one, though. Let's take a look when the standings scroll across at the top. All right. So yeah, you see Bourdais, Bobby Rahal, they just got back into the garage. So they'll get back on track. Villeneuve,
P27 Rahal is black flagged. Villeneuve got a black flag.
So a few cars back out on track. We just got one more.
Bourdais has a black flag.
One more lap and we'll go back to green flag racing. Lights on the pace car are out, but so is the entire pace car. just getting set back to go green flag. Lights are out on the pace car. Penalties have been cleared, so we should be all set. Dixon, Greg Moore, Dan Weldon, these guys are going to have to pit pretty soon. Trying to stretch this fuel tank to make a shorter pit and maybe one less stop entirely. See what happens. Multiple strategies playing out. All these drivers yet to even get to the hard compound tire, which will make things very interesting. The main passing point I'm seeing too is right at this point of the track in that long hairpin carousel. People getting to the outside, able to keep momentum off the corner. About to go back, green flag racing though. Will Power, Scott McLaughlin, Gilles Defer, and Joseph Newgarden all out of the race in that last 5 laps, basically. So, nightmare for Team Penske, and last year's winner, Will Power, will not be able to defend that title. Cars making their way down the backstretch. Pace car should show up again eventually, and we'll get them to the green flag. But Dixon doing a good job keeping them paced at a appropriate speed on his own. Just shy of the halfway point. 2 cautions so far. And Dixon leading the field slowly. And green flag.
Green, green, green.
Nice start that time for Dixon. No jump. Got a warning the last time, so going forward. It was not a legal move. There you see Junior with a big dive to the inside. Same with McLaughlin, who then stacks everyone up. But every time you go 3 wide, it just, everyone stops. Dan Weldon, big pass. Looks like he's up to 3rd. And Pelot even made a move on Rossi. Oh, Dixon was completely sideways. I think Greg Moore was too. These guys are all the way off the track here. There goes Herta. Oh, God. Across the track. He stalled it. Oh, 2nd in points. Wow. Look at Dan Weldon now. We're looking for 2nd on the championship leader, Greg Moore. What a restart. Pelot can see the lead. Oh, there goes 3 of the top 6, including the top 2, Dixon and Greg Moore.
Lead is pitting now.
Here we go. 1st and 2nd, Dixon and Greg Moore. Yeah, Dixon with a much better stop. Franchitti actually almost put pressure on Moore to get by. Now let's go back to the front.
Cornish got a black flag. Howard is black flag.
Have to clear these penalties real quick. Here's Dan Weldon now. Imagine they'll be looking at pit lane this time by. Trying to squeeze out an extra hot lap here. That's the current top 5. Here comes Nigel Mansell. He'll be staying out.
Lead is pitting now.
See how it plays out with the leaders when they come by. So let's find Greg Moore, Scott Dixon, got Mansell, Robbie Gordon, Robert Wickens, your current top 3. They've got probably another 4 or 5 laps before they need to pit. And they've already used their hard compound tire.
Weldon has a black flag.
And that is the halfway point
Sixth
of this
position,
race.
Rossi got a black flag.
And look at that. Weldon got out in front. What a moment.
Bourdais has a black flag.
Excuse me. Keep clearing these penalties. Huge moment there for Dan Weldon getting out in front of Dixon. And then you got this battle. Greg Moore losing quite a few spots. See Pelot trying the high side on Danny Sullivan. Not far enough along though. Dixon, very gutsy move on Tony Stewart, but Stewart gave him a little space. Now can focus on Dan Weldon. You see Greg Moore and all the time he lost. Not sure what just happened there. There's Vassar. Trying to hold off a storm of cars. Rick Mears looking to his high side and likely going to complete this pass. Yeah, Rick Mears putting himself in good position here, actually. This could play out in his favor. We'll have to keep an eye on that 23. Greg Ray in the top 10 at the moment. Oh, Dan Weldon did get the penalty, could not avoid it. Comes Nigel Mansell, current leader. Looking real good on this track here in Germany. Nigel Mansell will love nothing more to put it together here. Dan Weldon coming out of the pits. Gonna lose a lap. However, he did fulfill his tire requirement. That is interesting. There's Unser Jr. in 6th. Or 8th, sorry. It's got Buddy Lazier behind him. Here's Rick Mears, one of the faster cars on track. Unser Jr., though, is the proverbial quickest. Closing up on the Battle of the Robs. Lap, fresher tires for Al Jr. Whoa, almost contact. And that's going to open the door for Jr. to get by Gordon. Made that very easy, didn't lose any time. Now he can look at Wickens down the long front stretch. I don't know if he'll be close enough, but the grip he has off exit is just incredible. Yeah, not close enough here. But Al Jr. looking to possibly be up to 2nd place when this lap is said and done. Again, make sure we don't have any penalties. Oh, a bit of wide for Junior. I was worried he was going to get out to the grass, but he kept it on the track. See Junior. A ton of speed, under braking, closing the distance. Wickens doing a good job, though. Really improved this season. Nigel Mansell laps are not registering for some reason. Oh, there's Nigel right now on cue. Same with Wickens, Gordon, Lazier.
Lead is pitting now.
And Al Jr. is going to inherit the lead. Now on the 9th lap of his fuel tire stint. Rick Mears, Jimmy Vasser, that's going to be 2nd and 3rd. They're 5 seconds back of Al Jr. And you got Greg Ray. Dre. Bourdais and Lyondike, wheel to wheel. Bobby Rahal almost makes contact.
Wickens got a black flag.
Oh, make sure we don't get these. We still have just under half of this race to play out. And, I mean, anything can happen. A lot has happened already, but this is bound to be a wild finish. It's hard to tell really what's going to happen with all the different strategies currently playing out. I'd say we could make it about... It's hard to say how many laps on fuel. We've seen all sorts of different numbers. 17 laps, but that was maybe with a caution. 14 laps, maybe.
Car 003 has taken the lead.
Weather update bro. Track temp ramped up 4 degrees Fahrenheit to 91 in the last 30 minutes 10 seconds.
Wickens does get hit with the penalty. Alright, back to the front. Let's see, where is Al Jr.? There he is. Unser Jr. in the lead on lap 10 now of his stint. There's Rick Mears, 6 seconds back. Jimmy Vasser trying to hold off Hunter Ray. There's Greg Ray. Then Andretti, followed by Bourdais, Leyendijk, Bobby Rahal, Jacques Villeneuve, Kanaan, and Hinchcliffe. See if we can track down Greg Moore in a moment. Scott Dixon. Here is Scott Dixon. He's got 5 seconds up ahead to Hinchcliffe, so clear track. He's running about 2 seconds a lap quicker. Then you got Danny Sullivan with Greg Moore right behind him. Pelot and Rossi. Look at this, Nigel Mansell. Really fresh tires just out of the pits. Very much in the conversation as Dario Franchitti had to let him go. And Paul Tracy and Castroneves battle through the hairpin. Castroneves doesn't quite have enough. For anyone interested on where these guys were standing, they are closing up quickly on the lead pack. And I'm not sure if Al Jr. just came to pit lane. No. Just timing and scoring going a little crazy. But Scott Dixon across the line. What was it this time? Not gonna get a lap time, it seems. But you can tell the gap continues to fall. Unser Jr. looking pretty good right now. Healthy lead, 7 seconds. Continues to grow. Mario Andretti, I believe, has come to pit lane. Trying to get him for a penalty here. ahead of Dan Weldon. Here comes Al Jr. Take a look as they come through this first corner. See the tires, the front right just lifts off the ground. Big gap in the cars here. Should be, there we go. There goes Mario. Share our leader here. Comes Al Jr. Eight seconds now, the lead. Two seconds quicker that last lap. Sebastian Bourdais looking for a way by Greg Ray. See Lyndike, he had damage earlier after contact with Alexander Rossi. Here comes Dixon. Got that gap down to 2.8. These guys are still fighting it out. Catch up to Dixon. And it's going to be close for Al Jr. to make it on one more stop. But I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Now, you look here. And it gets a little closer. Nigel Mansell, for instance. Yeah, Nigel Mansell, I think, might be in the best spot right now. And then back of Nigel, Robbie Gordon and Robert Wickens. Oh my. Have Buddy Lazier. This could be a crazy finish as far as the results go. I'm looking at Nigel Mansell winning this race. Meanwhile, Al Jr. continues to extend his lead. 9 seconds now. And Jimmy Vasser nearly 15 seconds back. Al Jr. won back-to-back road course races. Road America and the Indianapolis Grand Prix. Last race was a Red Bull Ring, which is won by Scott McLaughlin. But here we are again. Now can make it 3 out of 4 if he can put this car in victory lane today. His lead is pretty significant. So if he does have to pit, here they'll see. How does he exit with Nigel Mansell?
Leaders pitting now.
I think we also got Rick Mears hitting pit lane. Quite a few cars, you can hear him entering.
Bourdais is black flagged. Brack is black flag. Palou is black flag. Second position Mears got a black flag. P5 Ray got a black flag. Yendi got a black flag. Palou is black flagged.
I do apologize, just clearing as many penalties as I can right now. Let's get back to Al Jr. Looks like he got out in front of Nigel Mansell just barely. Oh, wow. So that's the potential battle for the win here. And now Al Jr. is going to have to make a gap, knowing that they both have to stop one more time. Now here's Scott Dixon back in the lead where he was most of the first half of this race. Greg Moore second, Danny Sullivan third, and even Alexander Rossi now up to fourth. There you see Paul Tracy, Michael Andretti and Castro Neves behind him. Making sure we got these penalties all cleared. Quick lap for Al Jr. He's almost off the track. Keeps it on. Ooh, the marbles almost took him out there. That could have thrown the whole race away. That's just how easy it is to lose control here at the Nurburgring. Very fast and then hard braking corners, sweeping. You're racing the track almost as much as you race the other cars around you. Now you see Al Jr. to the rear wing. Gout to Mansell already 2 seconds.
Leaders pitting now.
They're saying Dixon down pit lane.
Dixon is black flag. Fourteenth position Herta is black flag. Tracy got a black flag. French attack is black flag.
Should be good for right now. Just wait a second. But now Al Jr. looking for a way by Rossi. 20 laps to go. for the lead. Danny Sullivan is your leader. Oh, what a place to make a move there, Junior, but they really checked up going into the chicane more than he expected. Knowing that they were coming to pit lane makes a lot more sense. Now, Al Jr. The race in his hands. Here's Rick Mears. Not sure if he's serving the penalty.
Lead is pitting now.
He just stopped. Rick Mears just retired. IndyCar is retiring. I don't know what's happening here. Is everybody just saying fuck this race? Oh, what is going on? Nobody has any penalties. Okay. Okay, I guess we'll wait a minute. Let's see if any of these cars come back. Do apologize here. I'm not sure what is going on. I've never had this ever happen. I think there's something very unique to the Nurburgring, though, causing these issues. I think every car just quit. They weren't black flagged. Unfortunate turn of events here at the Nurburgring, and leaves us without a result. After 45 of 65 laps, the drivers went to pit lane and did not come back. And go back down here to pit lane one more time. I do not see any cars making their way back out. I think they all have retired. So this will be sent to iRacing. See what we have in regards to results. It's not going to be accurate because a lot of cars was that what they thought the end of the race was? It almost seems like that was the end of the race. Yeah. It counted 65 laps as 45. Alright, what we'll do here is go back to the race. Oh, big contact there. He almost wiped out the other Penske car. Why did they call this race? There's Vassar out of pit lane. Ooh. And that's it. Huh? Alright, well, appreciate everyone for joining us today. We may consider taking these results and calling it a full race, as it was half distance. And then calculate the points from here. So we'll have to take a look and see what the best course of action is. But appreciate everyone for tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. Next race will be at Barcelona. Stay tuned for that. Set the notification. And we will see you next time.